Hi, today we'd like to talk to you a little bit about food prices and their escalation as part of our series on inflation. Doug, obviously inflation is a huge issue right now. We think that we may have peaked, but we don't see it going anywhere we expect continued higher prices, right?
Correct. It's kind of like a mountain. We've gone up very quickly. We've reached the peak of the mountain, and then we think it's going to go down, but it's going to go down slowly, not fast.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll still see increasing prices going into this summer, and I think actually for several years to continue.
And I think it's important to note that these escalated prices are not just in every sector, or they're not evenly spread out. I mean, we see higher prices in certain areas in particular, like food.
And that's the reason for this video is we see food going on. And a big area that's causing this is the fertilizer shortage.
Mm-hmm. So what's in fertilizer that is making it scarce right now?
Well, one of the big ingredients is potash. Mm-hmm. Potash, China is one of the largest producers of potash, and back in 2021 they've reduced their shipping out to other countries of potash. Also Belarus, through sanctions we've cut off the shipments of potash from Belarus.
And there's also natural gas as a huge component of fertilizer, right?
And Russia is both a producer of fertilizer
and natural gas,
and they've restricted the amount.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're shipping tons, literally all the natural gas that we can in liquid form to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to drive up the price of natural gas in the United States.
All around.
Right.
And then of course, when a farmer, their prices go up and they're making corn or soybeans, that of course in turn impacts the cost of feed for animals that we might be eating. So it's not just the cost of lettuce is going up, it's just across the board.
Right, so it's corn or soybean goes to cattle or pork, and then also the area where they slaughter and produce the meat, that's increased. Mm-hmm. And all the way across, we're seeing a labor shortage, which we've talked about on earlier videos.
Yes, which is a huge issue, because if you don't have workers, then how do you produce the food?
Exactly.
And you have to pay more to get those workers.
Exactly, right.
And certainly the lack of migrant workers, which we've talked about in the past, I think, is contributing to that as well as a declining birth rate.
And last year, the overall population of the United States grew at a 0.04%. The lowest rate it's grown in over 20 years. So even though some news sources say that we're having a lot of people coming across the borders, that's just not showing in the actual numbers. And we actually need more migrant workers to fill those jobs in the agricultural industry.
And if the birth rate goes down, that's going to be a continued issue.
Well, the birth rate has been on decline for several years in the United States, so yeah, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm. And then there are other areas of the agricultural economy that are seeing issues, like sunflower oil is a great example.
Right, and the largest producer of sunflower oil in the world is Ukraine. And they're not able to ship anywhere, maybe a quarter or a third of what they normally ship because of the war.
Right, of course. I mean, it's amazing that they can ship anything at all at this point.
Yeah, and that remains to be seen if they can continue to ship. It maybe just stay there. And so what that does is that puts pressure on other oils. So olive oil has gone up 15%. Because people are having to buy soybean oil and olive oil to replace the sunflower oil that they're not able to get anymore.
And apparently sunflower oil is in a lot of our food products. I didn't realize just how much sunflower oil is used. And at the end of the day, for food manufacturers, they can't just sure, you might be able to substitute a different type of oil, but that is not an overnight process. You would have to then, change the formula for how you make a food product, and then you would have to change the labels on those food products to reflect the different ingredient, and on and on and on.
And farmers in the United States have increased their production of sunflower oil by 20%.
Yeah.
But that's not going to be enough to offset what we've lost due to the war in Ukraine.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the war in Ukraine doesn't only affect sunflower seeds, it also affects stuff like wheat and other grains, because
Right.
they're also a huge producer of wheat, oat, and other grains for the rest of the world market.
And I mean, this is not something that is going to go away just because the Fed ups the interest rates in this country.
Correct.
Because these are outside.
So, for example, if the Fed increases interest rates, it has no effect on China not shipping potash to the rest of the
Right.
world. So really, the base area is that you really need to give us a call, and we can tell you investments that will take advantage of these rising prices in agricultural and commodity prices. So please give us a call. We'll be glad to talk to you about some of the investments that will be helpful to take advantage of this situation.